CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Taylor Brock.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Manitoba businesses are facing a new round of headaches coming from the United States. President Donald Trump says he's imposing a new 50% tariff on a long list of Canadian goods. One industry says they're feeling sideswiped and believes this will shut them out of the American market. CTV's Jeff Keel explains how Manitobans will feel the sting.
The latest trade war barb from the president has created a frenzy on this side of the border.
We feel a little bit sideswiped right now. We don't understand why honey has been included in this whole list of tariffs.
Ian Stepler is a beekeeper near Miami, Manitoba, producing 500 drums of honey a year. Some of it is sold in the U.S. On Monday, President Trump announced in 30 days a 50% tariff will be placed on a wide range of Canadian goods, from hockey equipment to honey. Stepler says this would sting, as U.S. buyers would source honey from other countries rather than pay the extra cost.
So losing one of our biggest buyers of our product within the production season that we're approaching right now has added a lot of stress to producers.
One of the reasons cited for the latest tariff threat is the ban on American booze in some provinces like Manitoba, but it doesn't seem like anyone is budging.
There is not a chance in hell that U.S. alcohol is going back on the shelf.
This latest development is creating more uncertainty for Manitoba businesses.
We're trying to figure out exactly why this is happening. It seems unprovoked entirely.
The Manitoba Chambers of Commerce says the 50% tariffs are concerning and shows Manitoba and Canada need to become less reliant on the U.S.
This is something that they kind of started with us. And so I think there's a real sense that we can't just sit idly by and let these things continue to happen.
Stepler says his industry in this province sends 3 to 4 million pounds of honey south, returning $6 to $8 million into Manitoba's economy. He hopes the latest move by Trump is simply a negotiating tactic that won't stick.
But if they do follow through, it's going to be, a huge blow.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
On social media, Premier Rob Canoe said U.S. booze will remain off the shelf in Manitoba, pending a fair trade deal. Now, as for local businesses, the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce says ways that they can be helped include expanding access to new international markets, building infrastructure to improve Manitoba's global competitiveness, and fast-track plans to reduce internal trade barriers between provinces. And speaking of knocking down trade barriers, 9 premiers say they're updating their rules to allow more Canadian brewers and distillers to sell alcohol directly to consumers outside of their home provinces. This would lift barriers that make it more difficult or costly for manufacturers to sell alcohol outside of their home provinces. Manitoba is among the provinces signing on to the agreement after having already reached deals to permit more interprovincial sales of certain types of alcohol. In a statement, the premiers said Quebec and Yukon are aiming to sign the agreement in the near future, while BC said it would allow companies to sell directly to consumers by February of next year. The votes are in, and we now know who will represent the provincial riding of the Pas-Kamisak. Unofficial results from Elections Manitoba show Jennifer Flett, the NDP candidate, winning by a landslide to become Manitoba's newest MLA. Elections Manitoba data shows Flett capturing 74% of the vote. In all, more than 3,500 people turned in ballots, a voter turnout of 36%. Last month, the by-election was called to elect a new MLA in the northern region. It came after a vacancy was left in March following the sudden death of NDP member Amanda Laughlin. Tonight's results mean the governing NDP will hold 34 seats in the Manitoba legislature. The PCs have 20, the Liberals hold 1, and there are 2 independent members. A warning, this next story may be upsetting. A 16-year-old is facing animal cruelty charges after police say he killed a cat in public. Around 9:20 Monday evening, police were told someone was injuring a cat with a knife in the Centennial neighborhood. Officers arrived to the 600 block of Main Street and found a dead cat along with a suspect who they say was holding a knife. Police say several people witnessed the incident. Investigators believe he brought the cat to the location in a plastic bag while it was still alive. The 16-year-old is facing 10 charges, including killing or injuring animals, possession of a weapon, and failure to comply. Manitoba's police watchdogs are investigating after a man was seriously injured when his scooter and a police vehicle collided. It happened Monday at around 6 p.m. in the Silver Heights neighborhood. A statement from police says patrol officers spotted a man whom they believed was at large and had 2 warrants out for his arrest. Police say officers tried to arrest him, but the man got on a scooter, started riding away, and collided with a police vehicle. He was brought to hospital in unstable condition. Because of the man's injuries, the independent investigation unit is now probing the incident. Police say while the 50-year-old man was being detained, officers found cocaine, methamphetamine, and a little more than $400 cash. The 50-year-old is now facing more charges, including 2 drug-related charges, resisting a peace officer, and possessing proceeds of crime. A reminder, none of the charges have been proven in court. A 32-year-old man is in custody tonight after police say they came across a carjacking in progress late Monday afternoon. It happened near the intersection of Salter Street and Selkirk Avenue shortly before 6 o'clock. Police say a man jumped in front of a vehicle and began assaulting the driver, a man in his 70s, and was trying to pull him from his vehicle. That's when patrolling officers happened upon the scene, chased the subject down, and arrested him. He's charged with robbery and remains in custody. Police say the victim suffered some minor injuries but not need medical attention. Walmart will soon be welcoming back customers to its St. Vital Centre location. The store has been closed since July 6th after police say someone set a fire to the bedding section. Walmart now says the store will be reopening on Thursday, July 23rd for its regular hours. A 47-year-old man was arrested days after the fire and faces charges including arson with disregard for human life, possession of incendiary material, and 2 counts of failure to comply. The 1988 and 1990 Winnipeg Blue Bombers are joining the club's Hall of Fame. The Bombers announced the inductees today. These squads won the Grey Cup in their respective years, marking the 2nd and 3rd titles for the Bombers in 7 seasons. They'll join the 1984 Grey Cup team in the Hall. The teams will be recognized during the September 25th home game against the Toronto Argonauts and at a gala celebration the next day in support of football in Manitoba. The Hall of Fame started in 1984 to recognize the contributions of players, coaches, and others who've contributed to the team's success over the years. An unforgettable experience today for some Winnipeg children will have sweet dreams in their future. Annual Dream Day at Princess Audio Stadium was filled with football, fun, and community, along with on-field games and activities with the Bombers, mascots, and the cheer team. The event ends with a big surprise, a new bed for the children who may not have one of their own.
We really encourage them to dream big and play hard, and in the end we surprise them with a bed of their own.
To see the smile on the child's face and to see how much it means to them, because for these children it's not just a bed's not just a bed for them, it's a sanctuary for many of these kids.
Dream Day is a partnership between the Bombers, Dufresne Furniture, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and Big Brothers Big Sisters of Winnipeg. And here's our first look at tonight's weather. It's actually pretty cool right now, 13 degrees with a few clouds in the sky, light winds, pressure rising, humidity is at 27%. It's actually a little cooler than what it was supposed to reach. 14 degrees was going to be the coolest of the night, but obviously downtown Winnipeg is proving me wrong. Tomorrow morning starts off at 17 degrees, I'm assuming, with sunny sky for us and light winds. Catching wind of a $3 billion plan, Manitoba Hydro is considering buying backup gas turbines for extreme weather, but climate advocates say there's a cheaper option. Manitoba Hydro is facing pushback over an estimated $3 billion plan to build new gas-fired turbines at the Brandon generating station. The 3 turbines would add 750 megawatts of capacity. It's actually part of a broader 10-year energy plan that also calls for up to 600 megawatts of Indigenous-owned wind power, plus new efficiency and demand response programs. The Public Utilities Board is scheduled to hold hearings on the proposal next week. However, Climate Action Team Manitoba says an independent report shows Hydro hasn't proven the gas plant is the cheapest option and argues newer technologies could do the job for less.
That's a massive investment. We know that Hydro is already dealing with a huge debt problem. And so, especially when we know that newer technologies, which are well proven in many other jurisdictions, offer a lower cost option than these do, we think that Hydro needs to be really sent back to the drawing board with just a fundamental acknowledgement that there are alternatives.
Hydro says that's just one perspective among several in an open regulatory process, and says it's confident its plan is the right path forward. It says the turbines would run infrequently, mainly to cover peak demand and as backup during droughts or extreme weather, working alongside 2 gas turbines already at the site. If approved, the new units are expected to be online by summer 2030. RCMP south of Winnipeg say they've recovered the body of a young man who drowned in a gravel pit. Police say an 18-year-old Winnipeg man was with some friends at a pit on Sunday southwest of Grunthal on Road 25 East in the rural municipality of Hanover. The man tried to swim across the pit, making it about halfway before disappearing under the water. Local RCMP and firefighters began searching while Stars Air Ambulance flew overhead with spotlights. The Mounties Underwater Recovery Team found his body Monday afternoon. The investigation is ongoing. And the search for 2 boys swept away by fast-moving rapids in a Manitoba lake is now in its 4th day. RCMP say search teams continue to scour Nudamik Lake and nearby shorelines for the 10 and 13-year-olds missing since Saturday. Police are encouraging boaters in the area to report anything that may help locate the boys. That includes clothing, footwear, or items that just appear out of place. A 5th suspect wanted in an alleged string of catalytic converter thefts this year has been arrested. Investigators opened a case in May following an uptick of calls related to catalytic converter thefts. Between the end of April and early June, there were 13 alleged thefts costing more than $20,000. Last week, police arrested 4 people between the ages of 36 and 51 who are facing theft-related charges. Yesterday, police arrested a 44-year-old man. He's been charged with 2 counts of theft under $5,000 and 2 counts of mischief to property under $5,000. All 5 people have been released on undertakings. None of the charges have been tested in court. A prominent Winnipeg Labour leader has died. The Canadian Union of Public Employees says Gord Delbridge, president of CUPE Local 500, died suddenly Monday. Details about his death were not shared, but CUPE says he suffered a medical emergency and was surrounded by loved ones when he passed. Delbridge was elected president in 2015. The organization represents workers at the City of Winnipeg, Assiniboine Park Conservancy, and the Winnipeg Humane Society, among others.
He's been a leader not only for the people, but for residents and for our civic services and for fighting for public services to ensure safety and health and safety, you name it. He also sat on our national executive board and means a tremendous amount to many people across Canada.
Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham offered his condolences in a statement, writing in part, "Even when we disagreed, Gord and I could pick up the phone and have an honest, respectful conversation," adding, quote, "His passing is a tremendous loss for CUPE, Manitoba's labor movement, and our entire city. I will miss him." Gord Delbridge was 55 years old. CUPE says the union work will continue with their vice president taking over the president's duties until the next scheduled election in late 2027. The City of Winnipeg is seeking a contractor for the Louise Bridge rehabilitation project. An annual inspection in May 2025 found serious issues with the structure. A tender for the project notes the work will include structural pier rehabilitation, riverbank stabilization, underwater work, as well as the installation of bridge bearings. The deadline for submission is August 18th. The city intends to award the contract by the end of September, with work starting on the site no later than November 1st. $12.6 million is available for this phase. The Manitoba government is hoping to get more money into the hands of flooded out homeowners faster. It says it's using what's known as a rapid residential assessment model in order to restore people's basements. The model takes into account factors like water depth, basement size, and level of finishing. The program is specifically geared towards restoration work. Damaged goods are assessed separately. Assistance is capped at $3 million, less the deductible, which is $2,500 or 20% of the eligible amount, whatever is greater. You can find more details on the province's website. Altona is unveiling a massive tribute to one of Vincent van Gogh's most iconic paintings. And no, these aren't ants crawling on a Van Gogh masterpiece. You're looking at painters using marine-grade plywood, fiberglass, and a lot of automotive paint to create this 24 by 32-foot sunflower painting. It's roughly the size of an average two-bedroom apartment. The original was first put up in 1998, but was taken down in 2025 after a windstorm. It's a 1,000-pound steel frame and 75.5-foot tall easel. Well, now have something to display.
Maybe a lot of people don't know that when sunflower blooms, it faces east. And as the sun goes to the west, the sunflower follows it. And so when people drive by on the highway and see this big Van Gogh painting, their heads turn.
This new version was unveiled today as the official kickoff to Altona's Sunflower Festival, which runs Friday through Sunday. A photography exhibition honoring the contributions of Manitoba's Icelandic community is ready for viewing in Gimli. It's called Icelandic Winnipeg. It's the brainchild of photographer Signy Thorstensen. The exhibit is on display at the New Iceland Heritage Museum and features photographs that document the presence of Icelandic culture and history throughout Winnipeg.
It is something that came about as we were marking the 150th celebration of Icelandic settlement in Manitoba. We did a bus tour that featured buildings from the West End right to the University of Manitoba, and we thought it'd be great to sort of document these sites with photographs that people looked at when they attended the Scandinavian Centre.
The exhibition runs through August 4th. And folks are going the extra mile to trim grass. Why the usual method isn't quite cutting it for these artisans. Plus, warm and mostly sunny. We'll show you when you can pull out your own safer lawnmower, still to come in your complete Skywatch forecast. Tonight's Skywatch pick of the day is of a gorgeous shot from Carmen. Thanks to Beverly for sending in this morning dew snapshot. You can send your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We did actually have a bit of a cooler day today here in Winnipeg, and we are expecting temperatures to really skyrocket actually not too long from now. Taking a look though just at the possibility of rain, we are seeing that particularly in northern Manitoba. Places including Thompson could be seeing some showers both tonight and tomorrow. Here in Winnipeg, we aren't expecting anything to fall until about Thursday, where a thunderstorm is possible. But other than that, mostly clear for us. We are seeing though on Wednesday a chance of some scattered showers, not just across the north, but also potentially near the Saskatchewan border as well. That could be actually heavy at times for folks, including potentially in Thompson as well overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning. At that same time though, we're going to see the system push out for the most part on Thursday morning. Ontario though will still be dealing with the rain potentially throughout most of the day on Thursday, and rain is going to actually make its way to us here in Manitoba on Friday. That is, however, if this system doesn't push even further south. Taking a look across Manitoba, as mentioned, there is that chance of rain for folks in Thompson tomorrow with a high of 27 degrees expected. Looking to the northwest, we are seeing a high of 29 in the Paw tomorrow with a lot of sunshine. Moving to the south, we are seeing a cloudy night in Dauphin with a low of 11 degrees. 28 will be your high tomorrow, though, with mostly clouds in the sky. However, that sun will hopefully peek through for you folks. Here in Winnipeg, a mostly sunny day tomorrow with a high of 27 degrees. And in Kenora, we are expecting a cloudy day tomorrow with a high of 25. Looking over the next few days, we are seeing, as mentioned, a chance of rain on Friday, potentially even a thunderstorm as temperatures get much hotter. You don't always need a powerful mower to get a fresh cut lawn. Experts in Hungary are offering training on the art of scything. The scythe has to move differently depending on the plant. There is also the work to maintain a thin, sharp blade, but people who've mastered the practice say it's a quiet and sustainable option to manage their land.
What you get, this is amazing.
Nova Scotian is tooting his own horn for a good reason. His meticulous tribute to Canadian railway history next. We're hitting the tracks, the model train tracks, that is. As CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us, an amazing replica of the old railway route between Louisbourg and Glace Bay brings history to life.
It's a model train with a mission to keep the rich history of rail in Cape Breton alive.
It covers basically the whole layout of the SNL Railway. That would have been, well, 50 years ago, 60 years ago.
This large diorama inside the SNL Railway Museum in Louisbourg recreates the approximately 63-kilometer rail journey that used to be made regularly between Louisbourg and Glace Bay. The train chugs on past mock-ups of an old coal mine. It goes over bridges, and of course, through tunnels. Fergus Francie, after a long career in the Canadian Coast Guard, has more time these days for his other passion, model trains, and he spent years helping build some of this set.
I think I've got about 500 trees on this layout that I made by hand. I came back to work again about a year ago, and I kept on going. Made the coal mine, the Myra Gut Bridge, the road bridge is another one of my creations. But again, a lot of people have had their hands in this.
It blows me away. It blows everybody away.
The idea for this was first floated about 23 years ago by members of the Sydney Railway Club. This is the first summer the completed model has been fully open to the public.
It's something that every school system should bring their kids here and see what we've done here.
Of course, rail in Cape Breton has been largely a thing of the past for more than a decade now, and whether or not real trains will ever hit the tracks on the island again, this piece of history in miniature brings what those days might have been like back to the present.
What you see is what you get. This is amazing, an amazing adventure. I'm glad I've been part of it.
Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Louisbourg, Nova Scotia.
For more than 50 years, people in Chapeau, Quebec knew where to get a good cut of meat and a good conversation.
Great guy, great family. You come to get a steak and you're here for an hour talking.
Yeah, talking with them.
Customers came out over the weekend to wish Francis Conroy a good retirement. Now, this is Francis, who's been the neighborhood butcher for 54 years. Now, at 91 years old, he's officially hanging up his apron. The butcher shop is staying in the family, which means Francis can still pitch in with some helpful advice. This ATM gives out something more valuable than cash, to dogs, that is, where very good boys and girls are cashing in, and we'll break down tomorrow's forecast next.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tomorrow, temperatures are really heating up for us in Winnipeg. We'll be seeing a mostly sunny sky for much of the day. Temperatures rising to a high of 27 degrees, feeling more like 31 with the humidity. For this ATM, you'll need more than just a PIN. You'll also need pause because it's an ATM for dogs. And in this case, ATM stands for Automatic Treat Machine. Pups just have to step onto the pad and it will give them a free snack. This ATM is at the TD Bank on Davie Street in Vancouver. The bank says it's a pilot project and is at just 3 locations in Canada. Now, none of those are here in Winnipeg. So if your dog's looking for a treat, you have to look elsewhere. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching and good night.